Welcome to our Thinking Day celebration. We may not be in church to celebrate it, but we have produced some thoughts and reflections from members of our guides, our brownies and our rainbows at Sherwood Greenlaw Church. This year's World Thinking Day theme is Stand Together for Peace. And listen to the words that Jesus said. I have told you these things, so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. Let's sing one of our favourite songs, One More Step Along the World I Go. Lorna Ferguson is our guide leader at this moment in time. And Lorna's going to come and share something about what Thinking Day is all about.
Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well and keeping safe. For those who don't know me, my name's Lorna and I'm a leader with the Guides and also at the Tuesday Brownies. World Thinking Day has been celebrated every year on the 22nd of February since 1926 by 10 million Rainbows, Brownies, Guides, Rangers, Leaders, Trefoil Guild members and many others all over the world. It is a day for us all to think of each other and our guiding sisters around the world, especially those less fortunate than us. Normally on Thinking Day we would all come together for a service at the church and the colours would be out on parade. However, this year that obviously can't happen. This year, although things are a little different, we can still celebrate Thinking Day. Even though we can't be together in person to mark the occasion, we can still join together and share in events and activities with other members of our Girl Guiding family across the globe. Each year, Thinking Day has a theme, and this year's theme is Stand Strong, Stand Up, and Stand Together for Peace Building. Peace building is at the heart of Girl Guiding and is as vital and relevant today as it was almost 100 years ago. The definition of peace building is the development of constructive personal groups and political relationships across ethnic, religious, class, national and racial boundaries. It aims to resolve injustice in non-violent ways and transform the structural conditions that generate deadly conflict. Our aim with this Thinking Day service is to spread peace throughout the world and to remember our guiding sisters, especially when we can't be together. I believe you all with this quote by Mother Teresa, which is something we can all do to help. Peace begins with a smile.
Thank you, Lorna, for those words. And our theme, as Lorna told us, is Stand Together for Peace. We also invited the girls to offer some of their thoughts about Thinking Day and what Thinking Day meant for them. So let's watch a few clips just now.
Thinking Day for me is a chance of celebrating friendship.
When you celebrate girl guiding around the world.
Thinking Day for me means I get to come together with other guides to celebrate Thinking Day.
Peace is an offering, a muffin or a peach, a birthday invitation or a trip to the beach.
Peace is gratitude for simple things. Light through a leaf or a dragonfly's wings, a kiss on the cheek and raindrops and dew, a walk in the park or a hot bowl of stew.
Peace is holding on to another. Peace is the word we say to another.
Peace is holding on to another. Peace is the word you say to another.
Will you stay with me? Will you be my friend? Will you listen to my story until the very end? Will you wait when I am slow? Will you calm my fears? Will you sing to the sun to dry my tears?
Will you keep me company when I'm alone? Will you give me shelter when I've lost my home?
Peace is a joining, not a pulling apart. It's the courage to bear a wounded heart. It's a safe place to live. It's the freedom from fear.
So, offer a sweetie, comfort a friend, sing a quiet song, catch a falling star. May peace walk beside you wherever you are.
We sing together, Make Me a Channel of Your Peace.
Make me a child of your peace.
So, some of you have recently joined the Rainbows, and you haven't had much to do because we've been in this lockdown throughout that period of time. Some of you have been part of Rainbows and Brownies and Guides for a long time. So I thought it'd be nice to hear some of your thoughts about the things that you enjoyed as being part of these different organisations. Again, we're going to watch some video clips of some people telling us a little bit about their experience of the organisation, and then I'll tell you a wee bit more about what some others said as well.
I like playing with my friends and earning badges.
My favourite thing about being a guide is getting to go to guides, seeing all my friends and doing fun activities.
My favourite thing about guides is getting to go along every Thursday and getting to meet up with friends and meet new people and all get to do things we love and carry out really fun activities.
My favourite thing about Brownies is learning new things and meeting friends.
Others have added their different things. Some said they liked learning new skills and earning badges. Others, it was about helping people and making new friends and all the different fun activities. And others said that they get to see their friends and share in some of the games that they play. I think it's fantastic to belong to one of the uniformed organisations. And I know, having visited the girls at various events, that you have lots of fun and there's always lots of laughter, always lots of songs, and also lots of food. But one person has been in the Brownies, the Guides and the Rainbows for a long time, and that's our own Anne-Louise Keddy, who this September will have been in the organisation for 60 years as a girl and officer, and later on she's going to be a Trefoil member as well. So I thought it'd be interesting to interview Anne-Louise about her life and involvement in the guiding movement. So here goes for our little interview. Okay, so Anne-Louise, welcome to our Thinking Day service. You've been part of the guiding movement all your life, I believe. Can you tell me what your involvement was as a young girl and how you got involved with guides in the first place?
Well, obviously I started off in Brownies and then went into guides, guides in Sherwood, and when I left there at 16, I was asked to be a young leader in the Brownies, which really scared me a bit because the brown owl, to my mind, was a scary person. But I went along and that was the start of it as a young leader. And then 2 years later, I was warranted as a tawny owl, and it went on from there.
So you've had lots of years of leadership. Shall we put it like that rather than count them individually, or do you want to name how long it's been?
Well, I was warranted. I was a young leader in 1961 and warranted in 1963.
Wow. So that's nearly 60 years. Is that
Come
right?
September, it will be, yes.
Wow. That is quite a long time to be involved. And as a guider and as a brownie, did you have any sort of moments that you found embarrassing or fun? I think there was a story you once told me a while ago about flags. Do you want to tell them that little story?
Just as having to go to a parade and to wear what was termed in those days as a battle top, a navy blue battle top. I don't know where it came from. It was not mine, and I had to wear this to go to this parade. And I was highly embarrassed in case I met any of my friends on the way there. I don't know whether I did or not, but I would have run into a shop doorway, I think, if I'd seen anybody I knew. But you didn't say no, I'm not doing it. You just had to do what you were told. One other embarrassing thing for the day, my friend who was also a tawny owl, we had to take them into the water swimming because the other two ladies who came with us were elderly ladies and they didn't take them into the water. And one year we rebelled and didn't take our swimsuits. However, we should have, because we were then told, it's all right, we've got spares with us. So my friend and I had to put on these hideous seersucker swimsuits that did absolutely nothing for us. So we learned our lesson.
So did those difficult and embarrassing situations, did those help you when you were in to a more kind of leadership role, when other girls would probably have felt the same thing about some of those issues about, you know, being spotted in their uniform or whatever? Do you think that helped you to kind of manage those situations better because you yourself had been through them?
I suppose it did. I mean, I know when I did have the guides, I know some of the girls, they changed as soon as they left the church hall, or didn't change into their guide uniform until they came. But as long as they wore it when they were, you know, having the actual meeting, that was fine, that was okay. But I don't think I'd have forced any of them into doing anything that they didn't want to.
Yeah, yeah. And then you took on the role of district commissioner at one stage, which, you know, that can you just explain to folk what a district commissioner does and what that role involved for you?
Well, it's a case of the Paisley division is into various areas, and there was one person appointed to look after the units in that one area. And in my case, the first one was Glenburn, and at that time it was just Brownie units and guide units, and it was just a case of visiting them. If there was any problems, they would contact you and make sure that the census fees were all paid. That was the most hazardous part, trying to work out the census money and make sure it all balanced. Yep. And just try to visit them regularly.
Mm-hmm. And was that fun, visiting all the different units and getting to know, you know, officers and leaders and girls from all across the area? Was that a fun experience and a good experience doing that?
I did enjoy it because you got to know them, and it was quite good. You get different ideas going to visit all the different units to use yourself later on, because each unit was run slightly differently, although on the proper guidelines.
So what would you say about the guiding movement and the brownies and the rainbows that you've had lots and these last years here at Sherwood Greenlow, you've had involvement with the rainbows in particular, and you must have some stories to tell. Maybe don't name the individual girls, but maybe there are some good stories that have been inspirational for you, you know, and really thinking that this makes the work worthwhile. Is there any wee stories like that you can think of?
Well, I think the best part maybe of the rainbows is you see them maybe coming in just as a young girl, very, very shy, not wanting to take part in anything. And then by the time they're ready to go to brownies, they're volunteering to do things, and they're maybe helping other younger rainbows do things. And you see their personality growing over the years.
And that seems to be one of the things for me about the uniformed organisations in generally, but it's the way in which as people move through the organisation, you see this growth and development and confidence coming in to the individuals because they're doing this thing together with others and having fun, often doing it. Do you think that's a huge part of what guides and brownies and rainbows are all about? It's just growing the individual into being a mature and well-rounded woman, really, isn't it?
I think it is. It starts them off, and as most of my friends know, I mean, if I could make one rule in the land, it would be that every child should be a part of an organisation like Guides, Scouts, Boys Brigade, anything like that, because I think it sets them up for life. From the very youngest right through, and even if they don't carry on, I think even in later life they remember a lot of the values that they learned in these movements, and I think that's quite important.
Annelise, thank you for sharing some of these little stories with us today and telling us a little bit about your involvement with brownies and guides and rainbows throughout the years. It's remarkable that even now that you're hanging up your kind of your boots, as it were, you're still going to be involved in the guiding movement through the trefoil. Is that right?
That's right.
And what
Yes,
is the
absolutely.
trefoil?
Well, that's just for, I'm not going to say older guiders, because there are a lot of units that have got young guiders, retired guiders in trefoil, and it's just a case of carrying on. And there's challenges in it as well. You can still do badges and things, and Renfrew Trefoil Guild are very active, and along with other members of the congregation. We were meeting obviously until the coronavirus, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, although I was still doing my normal guiding. But as I say, the time has come.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're probably going to miss so much of it. And after so many years of service, I mean, we would like to say thank you to you, because you've influenced so many young people. You have played a part in church life in a big way, and it's going to be hard, and it'll be hard for you too, missing out on those Thursday nights and other nights that you were involved at various stages in your life with Guides and Brownies. But a big thank you, and we will have a virtual certificate to present to you where we can actually do it. So just take this as my virtual certificate of thanks to you today.
Thank you.
For all the work that you've done in Guides and Brownies and Rainbows, both at Sherwood Greenlaw and at other places where you've served and been involved with the organisation. And thank you for sharing a little bit of your stories today.
I cannot say anything but that I will miss it.
I wonder what kind of person you think this man was. I wonder if these pictures give us any clues about him. This man was called Mahatma Gandhi. He was a humble man who refused to wear rich clothing or overeat. He believed that all people should be treated as equals and should have the same rights, no matter how much money they had or how important they appeared to be to other people.
Mahatma Gandhi was born in India in 1869. He came from a rich upper class family where his father was a leader in the community. His parents wanted him to become a lawyer. And as a result, when Gandhi was just 19 years old, he went to England to study law there. 3 years later, he returned back home to India and tried to start his very own law firm. But he wasn't very successful at that. So he had to take a job with another Indian law firm, and he moved to South Africa to begin his new working life. And it was here in South Africa that Gandhi began to experience racial prejudice, which led him to begin his work to show how unfair life was for some people.
As you can see on our screen, there's a picture defining prejudice and racism. And I wonder what examples you could tell me about racist or religious prejudice or any other kind of prejudice that you might have faced or heard about. You see, when Gandhi was alive, India was ruled by Great Britain. And Gandhi didn't think that was right. So he went back to India and he led the fight for Indian independence from the British Empire.
He organised non-violent campaigns that involved many people. Although each of these protests was small by itself, the fact that so many people took part in the protests had a big, in fact a massive overall effect. Gandhi always said that the people who were protesting should do this without ever causing harm to anyone. In other words, to be a genuine peacemaker.
He said, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. I wonder, what do you think the term non-violent protest means? I wonder, what do you think the quote, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win, means? I wonder, why do you think the non-violent protester has won when someone resorts to fighting them? One of Gandhi's most successful protests was called the Salt March. When British officials imposed a tax on salt, some of the poorer Indian people could no longer afford to buy salt, which was vital in their diet.
Gandhi decided to walk 250 miles to the coast at Dundee to make his own salt from the seawater there. Thousands of Indians joined him on this march, and the march resulted in the arrest of nearly 60,000 people, including Gandhi himself. This made the British rulers realise that Gandhi had a huge influence on the Indian people and helped India to gain its independence in 1947, just 6 months before Gandhi died.
Gandhi was put in prison several times in his life for organising these peaceful protests. Each time the British government would release him because the Indian people had grown to love Gandhi so
Gandhi
much.
is still a very famous leader, even long after his death. He was actually assassinated in 1948 on his way to a prayer meeting. People often call him Mahatma, which means great soul. It is a religious title that's comparable to being a saint in Christianity. In India today, he is called the father of the nation and also Bapu, which means father. There are many quotes from Gandhi that encourage us to think about our own lives, that we might stand together for peace. And here are just two of them for you to think about.
Be the change that you want to see in the world,
Gandhi was a real person
and
of
nobody
peace.
can hurt me
He
without
did not
my
resort to
permission.
violence to dissolve his differences, but he sought ways that encouraged others to stand up for truth and justice and peace. And he is an example of someone who encouraged everyone to stand together for peace. I wonder if you would take just a moment and think about what you might do on this thinking day and in the rest of your lives to build a better world of peace among your friends and family and community. Let's just bow our heads in prayer as we think about that and ask God to bless us. On this thinking day, may each and every one of us stand together for peace, to fight for a fairer and more just world, to put an end to hunger and poverty, to put an end to homelessness, to put an end to illnesses that kill and destroy whole nations. We pray today, O God, for all those in our brownies and in our rainbows and in our guides, for our staff and all the girls, for all that they do to proclaim peace in your world and to live out that peace with each other. May you bless them. May you dedicate them in all that they do. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. We're going to finish our service with this little guiding light of mine. I'm going to let it shine.
This little guiding light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little guiding light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little guiding light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine all the time, let it shine. Hiding under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hiding under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine all the time, let it shine. Take my little light round the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Take my little light round the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Take my little light round the world, I'm gonna let it shine all the time, let it shine. Don't you know my little light out, I'm gonna let it shine. Don't you know my little light out, I'm gonna let it shine. Don't you know my little light out, I'm gonna let it shine all the time, let it shine.
And we now sing our guiding blessing. May the Lord, mighty God, bless and keep you forever. And we conclude with the national anthem, God Save Our Gracious Queen.